My birth name is Sathish Bala. Alter ego is Sats B. This project that we're talking about, desiFEST, it's such a definition of passion. You know, Mark Twain said it best. He said there's two moments that are important in life, the day you're born and the day you find out why you were born. And you know, for very long now, I've been trying to find the second answer to that question. And sometimes this project feels like that answer. And every year is another year to do something magical because we never know when the ride's going to end. And we're not even more conscious to go, how do we pass on this inspiration? I've never worked in a project where the end is such a reminder all the time. Because it is going to end at some point. It's never going to continue forever. You just can't. This has got to come in and be a spark, inspire a bunch of people, and then it's got to move on and get other people inspired. And so the team that supports us, you know, from day one, VJ, he was my first phone call when I thought of this idea. And then the next person I called was my good friend Kayla Patel. And I said, hey, you're the marketing genius that I know. I have this thing called desiFEST. Come and help out. There's this perception of who we're supposed to be, you know, and I think part of what I started this campaign for, or this program for, is to break some of that perception, you know, myself included. You know, Indian kid, born in India, grew up in Singapore, came to Canada. I remember the first time I had burger with a bunch of Hindu kids in Ryerson. They lost it on me. They're like, you can't eat a burger. I was like, juicy, man. You know, eat this burger. You know, so the perception that we're born with sets some rules that I think we need to break, you know. So here I am, you know, a successful business person, into music, tattoos, and listen to hip hop. And so people have already defined who I am, what I'm supposed to do, and where I'm gonna go in life. And I looked around and said, how many of these other kids have the same issue where you're out of the game even before you can start because somebody's defined who you're supposed to be. And so this particular project started as a challenge to that, to go, hey, what if I can change your perception? What if I can show you a small difference between what you thought this person was and who they really are? Then would you challenge every other assumption? If I can change your perception, that kid on stage that's got the low jeans, the bling, the tank top, and the hat to the left, is an A+ student who's waiting for acceptance into university, would you assume all your other, you know, preconceived notions about this kid was different in that moment in 3 minutes? And we did it. That was our first year, you know what I mean? And so, so that's really what this project is about. So all we want to do is to give somebody the chance to be who they are without putting an envelope of perception around them. We expected 5,000 people year one at Young Dundas Square, and literally there was like 40,000 people at Young Dundas Square. You know, people always ask me, like, you know, why did you become the face? You know, I'm a shy kid. I mean, it doesn't sound like it or look like it when you see it, but I'm really a big introvert. But it's a scary thing, man, to grab a mic that's unscripted for 12 hours, to go in front of an audience that you have no idea where or how, because it's not like a club event where you know who's going to come and how to deal with the crowd. I have no idea. We're attracting from age 13 up to 65. And so we have no idea who's going to show up, what mood they're going to be in, how rowdy or boring they're going to. We have no idea. And I'm giving this mic to go get out there and be the face of this campaign. So I was really, really nervous the first year. Going, well, to change perception, to change arrogance and ignorance, people need something. You can't just make it a blanket smoke and mirror shop. So I said, hey, you know, then if I'm going to be doing this and I believe in it, then I'm going to get out there and put my face on it. It was the most scariest thing I've ever done in life, because if it backfired, I have a brand issue. If it doesn't backfire and the opposite happened, I'm now destined for a public life. Either way, you know, is it a win or lose? I don't know. You know, time will tell. Some very important things about my life is public now, because I've made that an option for other people to sort of go, okay, you know, here's somebody that has similar issues and has persevered and have succeeded and broken rules. And so, you know, having a public life where people know when my kids are born, what their names are and what they're like and my personal life and my struggles and it's important for me to be able to share that. I think too long, the generation that struggled to get us here continues to remind us that the future should reflect the history. And I believe the future has to reflect the lessons from history. Being the kid that's labeled at home as Indian parents don't know that you're creative, they just know you're a troublemaker, right? So this troublemaking kid that never sat in one spot, didn't like the path that was provided as the oldest son. I think at about age 23 or something like that, I just stopped talking to my father. Like, we just had nothing in common. I was like, I don't know, I don't belong in the world that you've created, so I'm going to step out of it. But it wasn't until second year desiFEST when all of a sudden they went from thinking about the disappointments they've had with having an elder son that didn't follow their rules to sitting there going, okay, maybe this was the purpose that he had, and all of the decisions we made had a higher purpose to be here, because now I'm able to help a bunch of others the way they did for me. And I think, it was actually year 2 that we actually started talking again. And year 3, we're talking some more, and year 4, we're starting to become good friends. And year 5 is when I finally, I think, have a father in my life. And then cancer kicks in. And then just like this project, there's another project in my father, and time's running out too. You know what I mean? So you're like trying to squeeze in as much time as you can, and catch up and share stories that that I've never told them, or learn as much as I can before time sort of leaves. And it was crazy, man. Like the week of desiFEST, it was a Monday, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. After many rounds of chemo, I wasn't feeling well, so I took him to the hospital, and he was being stubborn because he was like, I have a fever, but I don't want to go. And I was like, you gotta go, you got a fever. So I brought him to the hospital, and I sort of said, look, I have to go for a meeting, I'll be right back. But they know you, and stop being a baby, and it's just a fever, we'll be back. But by the time I come back, he was in a coma. And never woke up again, and it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And here I am, like I'm planning for my show on Saturday, and I was trying to stay in both zones because they're both really important. My mom said, hey, look, he's gonna hold on, don't worry about it, because he's not gonna leave before the show's over. That's how much the show's important to him. And I was like, all right, man. So we did the show on Saturday, and we literally pulled the plug on Monday. And so the project has given so much back, just in terms of my own needs in life, and I could finally move on from that hatred from home and stuff. And so I think everybody that I've worked with in this particular project, somehow we've all developed a very personal moment. And that's why it's so important for us to make sure that, whatever version of this that continues somehow. And it's more than music. It's about life. Artists have collaborated that didn't know that each other existed. New music have been born out of just love and collaboration. These are the things that are really important for us to get across, so that when somebody's out there watching this thing, they realize that there is an important need for something like this in our community. Based on the size that we are as a community, the platforms are even more important. Whether it's desiFEST, whether it's Masala, whether it's Mosaic, whether it's Bollywood Monster Mash, whether it's Bombay Nights, whether it's the radio stations we're missing, whether it's the TV programs we're missing, whether it's the internet programs we're missing. There's so much need in the community that has to come to the front, and people watching this show, people at the show, are the ones that's going to come up with the next idea. They're the ones that are going to be inspired to go, hey, You know, I want to be part of the solution instead of just complaining about a problem. That's what this project is about.